Hey, fifth graders, it's our last week before Christmas break. So this week we're going to be doing 4 days of lessons. Um, Actually, just 3 days of lessons. Friday's a half day, so we won't be really doing any math that day in school because people will be on vacation and it's just a weird day anyway. So we won't be doing math that day. Thursday, our in-person students are going to do a Christmas activity. So we won't have math that day. So we're only going to have math this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So an easy week. Once you're done with me on Wednesday, that'll be it till January. So we'll get through this pretty quick. We will have a test when we get back in January. It won't be immediately. So don't worry, we're not going to come back and you're going to have a test the next day. But we are going to have a test on the division rules and all the division we've learned when we get back. So we'll spend the first couple of weeks reviewing and then getting into that. So this week we're going to be on page 84 and we're going to be looking at dividing by 2-digit numbers. So this time you're going to have 2 digits on the outside of the house. I wanted to kind of end with a test before break, but we just aren't going to have time because we had to spend so much time with our divisibility rules and now this. So we will continue this and then take a test on it in January, like I said. So look at page 84 with me. It says an architect is designing a parking lot for a new stadium. The lot will hold 8,925 cars in rows of 75 cars. How many rows of cars are in the parking lot? Divide 8,925 by 75 to find the number of rows. Use the division algorithm. Decide where to begin the quotient. Okay, so let's go ahead and start writing it out. So we would write 75 outside the house and 8,925 inside the house. Okay, so it looks complicated, it's really not. You will need more room for this on your paper than you probably did for the others, so give yourself enough room to solve it. So then we go back and it says estimate. Well, remember we skip any of the estimating, so do not estimate on this. Skip down to where it says how many times. How many times does 75 go into 8900s, 100 times, or 100? So think about this. We need to think of how many times 75 will go in 89. That should be pretty easy. It only goes in one time. From there, it's regular division. So 75 times 1 is 75. So remember, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Then we subtract and we get 4. 7 minus 8 is 1. And then we bring down a 2. Now this is a bigger number than what we did last time. So now we need to think how many times 75 will go into 142. So it says that it'll go in one time, but let me show you how to do that because you're not always going to have the book telling you. What you would have to do is kind of guess and check. Well, we know it's not going to go in a whole bunch of times. What we need to do is kind of do some side work where we go, okay, 75 times 2. Let's see if that gives me close. 2 times 5 is 10, carry your 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So that gives us 150. That's too big. So 75 can only go into 142 one time. So then we subtract from 75, or from 142. We need to borrow, so we're going to make that a 0, make that a 14, borrow from that, make a 13, and make that a 12. Okay, so 12 minus 5, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And then 13 minus 7, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then we bring down our 5. So now we have 675. So again, we're going to have to do some guess and check to see how many times 75 goes into 675 because we're not going to know that off the top of our head. So I'm going to erase the work we did over here just to give me some room. So let's try something like 75 times 5. If it's a bigger number, 5 is kind of my median where I start and then see if I need to go higher or lower. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. So I'm going to have to go a lot higher than that. So let's try 75 times 9. I know that 75 times 10 would give me 750, but that's too big. So 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 7 is 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. 675 goes in perfectly. So 75 goes into 675 9 times. 75 times 9 is 675, and when we subtract, we get 0. There will be some remainders here. Remember, your remainder can't be any bigger than this number. But since we have bigger numbers on the divisor, your remainder might be bigger, okay? So let's do another one. That's a lot of work. It's the same process, and you guys have been doing fine on the process, but it is more work, some guess and check, and some bigger numbers than you're used to. You can't go as quickly on this one and speed through. So let's try 961 divided by 28. So the first thing I need to think of is how many times 28 will go into 96. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm going to have to guess and check. So let's do something like 28 times 2. Let's see what we get. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Well, that's not going to be big enough, so let's go higher. Let's do 28 times 3 and see what we get. 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. That's about as high as I'm going to get. So what we're doing is checking to see how many times 28 will go into 96. And these aren't like the other ones where you'll know these facts in your head. These are ones you're going to have to do some guesswork on and some extra side scratch work. So 28 will go into 84 3 times. I already did the multiplication on the side. 28 times 3 is 84. When I subtract that, I get 121. So now I need to see how many times 28 will go into 121. So it went in 3 times and I got 84. So let's try 28 times 4. I get 32. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10, 11. 112. That's probably as big as I'm going to get there. So let's put a 4. 28 times 4 is 112. We need to make this an 11, make that a 1, 11, 10, 9. So we get a remainder of 9. And remember, we can check it by doing 961 times 28. So let's try. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 4 is 76. 0 for my placeholder. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, sorry. So 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got, hold on. I just did all that work for nothing because that was completely wrong. So see how I got a really big answer? That's where I know I'm wrong. I multiplied the wrong 2 numbers. So back up, pretend that didn't happen. You want to multiply 34 by 28. Sorry. Remember, you multiply the outer 2 numbers. All right, so 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 3 is 24, 25, 26, 27. Placeholder 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. So I got 952 plus the remainder, and I get 961, so that's correct. So if you want to check it, you need to multiply these 2 numbers and add the remainder, and you will get 961. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another. Let's do 1994 divided by 19. All right, so you're gonna like this one because we need to figure out how many times 19 goes into 19, which is easy. It goes in one time. So I subtract that and get 0, bring down my 9. 19 goes into 9 0 times. 19 times 0 is 0. 9 minus 0 is 9. Bring down the 4. Now we need to see how many times 19 will go into 94. So I'm going to do some scratch work. Let's try 5, just because that's kind of in the middle. 5 times 9 is 45. Carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 4 is 9, 95. So that's too high, okay? So I need to do 19 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Carry the 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. I get 76. So it goes in 4 times. 9 times 4 is 76. We need to borrow from this, make that a 14. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And we get 18 as our remainder. Let me double check, that is correct. So even though 18 seems like a high remainder, as long as it's less than it's 19, we're good. So 104 remainder 18. And if you get one and you think this can't be right, this is too big or too small, check it and see. Okay, let's do another. And remember, if you're not understanding this, rewatch this. Slow it down. I know I go kind of fast, but when I do that, I have to do that because Zoom only lets you record a certain amount of time. But you can go back and pause it or rewind it. Let's try 7,368 divided by 52. I know that 52 is only going to go into 73 one time. 52 times 2 is over 100. That's not going to work. So I'm going to put my 1 above the 3. 52 times 1 is 52. Subtract that. 3 minus 2 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 6. This is where I'm going to have to do some work to see. 52 can go into 216 how many times? So let's try 4. I know it's not going to be very high. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20, 208. That's probably as high as I'm going to get. So it goes in 4 times. 52 times 4, I already did that work and got 208. Okay, we need to borrow and make that a 16, and we get 8. And then let's bring down our 8. Again, we know it's only going to go in one time. So then we're going to subtract the 52, 8, 7, 6. We get 36 there, which is our remainder. So 36, again, seems like a big remainder, but we are dividing bigger numbers, so you will have a bigger remainder. So if you think this isn't right, check it, and if it's wrong, do it again. That's the beauty of checking it. All right, so I'm going to let you try some on your own today. Today's work is not going to be a grade. It's the first day you're doing this. I'm just wanting to see how you do. So today you're going to do page 84, numbers 4 through 10. We did 1 through 3 together already. 4 through 10, and your homework is workbook page 63. Okay, so practice these, see how you're doing. If you're not getting it yet, totally, it's okay. We're going to do it more this week, and we're also going to do it more next week. So please don't worry if it's not totally clicking just yet. Just practice and see how you do. Remember not to use a calculator. A calculator is going to give you a decimal and not a remainder. So I can always tell if you're putting a different remainder, but you're getting the answer right, the quotient. I can tell if you're using a calculator doing that. So don't use it. Just do it this way because you need to know it this way, okay? All right, so this is it for Monday. I'll see you guys for Tuesday. Okay, this is our Tuesday video. We're still on page 84. we're going to do some more practice for these. So yesterday you did 4 through 10. So let's look at what we're going to do today. Let's do 8,001 divided by 25. This one is an easy one because think about quarters when you think about 25. How many times will 25 go into 80? Well, I know 3/4 equals 75. So 80 minus 75. I get 5. I bring down the 0. Think about quarters again. 25 goes into 50 2 times. 25 times 2 is 50. We get a 0. Bring down the 1. 25 goes into 1 0 times. 25 times 0 is 0. Subtract that, we get a remainder of 1. So that one, if you ever get a 25, think about quarters. It makes it so much easier. Okay, and if we wanted to check it, let's check it right here and see how we did. We're going to check the outside numbers. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Placeholder 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 8,000 plus that remainder of 1 gives me 8,001. So it is correct. That one was a pretty simple one. Okay, so let's do another one. Remember, like I said, you're going to have a lot of work on these. Sometimes it is beneficial to do your work on a separate sheet of paper and then just have one paper with your answers. That way when you're checking it, it's easier. If you tend to have a really cramped up piece of paper, please circle your answers. When I'm checking it, it makes it easier. Okay, let's do 4,872 divided by 62. All right, now this one is a little different, so let's look at it. 62 can't go into 48. It's going to have to go into 487. So this is going to require me to do some multiplication on the side. So let's try 62 times 5, and let's see where we get. When you're guessing and checking, and you see how I always go to 5, sometimes you just pick a random number, and you start there to see whether you need to go up or down. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 1. So 310, that's too low. So let's try 62 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Still too low. Let's skip up to 8 and see what that gives us. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. That's too high. So it's going to be 7, so let's see what that is. 7 times 2 is 14, 42. That gives me 434. So look at all that work I had to just do to find that out. I started with 5, and then I kept going. I went to 8, and it was too big, so then I had to go back down to 7. So you will have a lot of work. It's not going to be as easy as the others. So 62 goes into 487 7 times. 62 times 7 is 434. Subtract that. 7, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 3, 8, 7, 6, 5. So I get 53, and I'm going to bring down the 2. So let's look at the work we've already done. I've already done 62 times 8 is 496. Let's try something like 62 times 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 6 is 54, plus 1 is 55. That's too high. Notice how I kept all of this work here. Please don't erase your work, because then once you get to the second part here, you're going to have to do it all over again. So keep the work and then just go back and look at it. So 62 goes into 532 8 times. 62 times 8, I already did that down here, and I got 496. All we have to do now is subtract. So we need to borrow, make that a 4, make that a 13, borrow again, make that a 12. make that a 12. So we get 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 36. So 78, remainder 36. Okay? So I'm going to erase this one and let's do another. Just a second. Try to keep yours neat. Mine's real messy. I kind of am a messy math worker. But like I said, you can have a separate sheet for work and then a separate sheet for your answers. Let's do 6,312 divided by 24. Okay, so we need to see how many times 24 will go into 63. So let's try 2 at first. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Too low, I think. So let's try 24 times 3. Too high. So it is going to have to end up being 2. 24 times 2 is 48. We need to borrow, make that a 5, make that a 13. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now we have 151. So then we're going to have to think how many times 24 goes into 151. Let's try 24 times 6 and see where we get. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14. That's pretty close, so let's go with that. Put my 6. 24 times 6 is 144. So we need to borrow from this, make that a 4, make that an 11. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Bring down the 2, 72. We already did that work. Look over here, I've already done it. That's why I'm telling you to keep up with your work and make it easier on yourself. So 24 goes into 72 3 times. 24 times 3 is 72, no remainder. 263 is our answer. Okay, let's do one more and then I'll let you guys do some classwork. Just a lot of practice on these. Oops, sorry. Got out of that and that goes to show me. Sorry, all right. Let's erase this again, maybe. Not wanting to work today. Oh, what's going on? Okay, sorry. Let's do one more. Let's do 1,395. Actually, don't do that one because that's in your book. That one gives you a just a 1-digit divisor. Let's do 9,090 divided by 85. Okay, this one's not too bad. We know that 85 goes into 90 one time. 85 times 1 is 85. 90 minus 85 is 5. Bring down the 9. 85 goes into 59 0 times. 85 times 0 is 0. When we subtract that, we get 59. Bring down the 0. Now we need to do some guess and check. So let's try 85 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Definitely need to go higher. So let's do 85 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51, 510. Let's try 85 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 8, 56. Too high. So we need to go with 6. 85 times 6 is 510. 0, and then we get 8. So we have 106, remainder 80. That's not right. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. I think it is right. I wrote the problem down wrong. Let's check it just to make sure. I accidentally wrote the problem down incorrectly out of the book. So let's see if I'm right. So I'm going to check it. I might be wrong on this one. 106 times 85. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 3. 5, 8. Okay, I am correct, so yay. 9,090 was our answer when we multiplied, so we are correct. It's 106, remainder 80. Okay, just had to check that one because I did write that one down incorrectly. So let's look at what you're going to do today for classwork and homework, and then after tomorrow, you are free of me until January. All right, so that's enough. Let's do today, page 84, 11 through 17, and homework is workbook, page 64. Okay, so classwork, page 84, 11 through 17, homework, workbook, page 64. All right, so end of Tuesday, and I'll see you guys Wednesday. All right, Wednesday's video, last day until January, so let's get through it. Today we're going to be on more of this division. We're going to be doing more practice of this today. So let's look at this one. Let's do 9,860 divided by 85. Okay, so first things first, 85 goes into 98 one time. That should be something that clearly comes into your head immediately. 85 times 1 is 85. Subtract that, we get 13. Bring down your 6. 85 goes into 136. Let's try 2, because that's not very big, and let's see. 2 times 5 is 10, 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 170. So it actually only goes in one time. 85 times 1 is 85. We need to borrow, make that a 13. 6 minus 5 is 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bring down the 0. All right, let's try 85 times 5. We're trying to get close to 510. 8 times 5 is 40. That's 425, so let's go higher. 85 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 48, 49, 50, 51. Goes in perfectly. So 85 goes into 510 6 times. 85 times 6 is 510. Subtract it, we get 0. So our answer is 116. Okay? So let's do some more. Let's do 2484 divided by divided by 92. Okay, now 92 can't go into 24, so it's going to need to go into 248. So let's try 92 times 3 and see where we get. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 9 is 27. Too high. Let's do 92 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 9 is 18. So it's going to go in 2 times. 92 times 2 is 184. 8 minus 4 is 4. We need to borrow for this one. Make that a 14. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We get 6. Bring down the 4. Let's try 92 times 5 for this, because 92 is almost 100, so we don't need to get that many. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 is 460. Let's try 92 times 7. Skip over 6 and let's go 7. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 9 times 7 is 63. Plus 1 is 64. Perfect. So 92 goes into 644 7 times. 92 times 7 is 644. Subtract that, we get a 0 remainder. 27 is our answer. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Let's do 714 divided by 42. 42 goes into 71 one time. 42 times 1 is 42. Subtract that. We need to borrow here, make that a 6, make that an 11, 11, 10, 9. Subtract that, we get 29. Bring down the 4. So let's do 42 times 4 and see where we get. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. Too low. Let's go higher. Let's do 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Let's go higher. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 1 is 29. Perfect. So even though 252 is pretty close, don't just assume that that's going to be your answer. Go up until you are for sure that that's your answer. So 42 goes into 294 7 times. When we multiply that, we get 294, 0 remainder. Okay? So let's look at your classwork. This will be the last one. You will be doing page 85, numbers 18 through 27. And no homework. So that's it. Merry Christmas. I will see you guys in January. Stay tuned to Class Dojo for any updates, and I hope you guys have a great break, and I hope you get everything you want from Santa Claus, and I will see you soon. Bye.